Hey everybody, welcome to episode 139 of Level Grind the Daily Hustle. I'm Rachel Bogan. Welcome back to my show. If you are a new subscriber or this is your first time watching, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Get ready for today's ride. So right now I'm busy working on an email for my company. This is something that's been on my to-do list for a while, and I'm finally getting it out. I'm just about ready to hit send. Hooray! And this is basically an announcement and an invitation to all of my company subscribers to come to my presentation at NAB next week. Now I know that a lot of people may not be able to make it, but that's okay. I still want them to know that it's there and that it will be coming online later. So I'm glad that I have this finished. As I said, this is something that's been on my to-do list, and it's kind of been on my to-do list for quite a while because apparently I forgot to send my second newsletter of March like I'm supposed to. Oops. Oh, I mentioned this yesterday. This is my video project outline that I use. I have a paper template for this. I had to flesh this one out a little bit more because I'm doing so much with this project, but it lists on it everything that I need to do to get this project done from start to finish. I broke everything out in terms of like what kind of stuff that this is, but then once I complete something, I just cross it off. This is really helpful, especially since I'm going to be coordinating so many different things. I've got Andrea doing her thing. I've got to set up a sound recording room for this. I got to hire a photographer and or videographer for the pieces that we're going to make from the scripts. And then marry up to the narration, and then I gotta take everything and just put it into post-production and actually edit this stuff. So this is a really critical piece because it helps me stay on task. And right now it's dictating to me that I need to schedule availability with the guy that they want to do the narration with, let him know when I want those scripts due so we can start working with that. I also need to then book my narration and get that sound room, see what's available because not all sound rooms are available the day of. And I need to book my photographer and videographer and start reaching out to the people that I know just to see what they have available and see whether or not they can shoot the week that I've got. So the beauty of this is that it just keeps me on task, but it also helps me figure out what my next thing needs to be. The fact that I need to email some of these people is also extremely helpful because I've got another thing I need to still figure out. I need to find a videographer for the 420 event for Creative Mornings. This is because the guy that was doing it before has bailed. He's not available because of some other stuff that's come up. So I've got to find that, and it just allows me to get two birds killed with one stone. I'll be able to email some of the people that I know in relationship for that particular event, but then also for the stuff that I'm doing. So yeah, that's a really good thing. In terms of the Creative Mornings hole that we have, in terms of we need to find a videographer, now I need to try and find a team, because the reality is that when you're waiting and relying on only one person to do a job, if that person bails, like what's happened, you don't have any fallback. And so I really want to get together at least 2 or 3 people who can tag team and, you know, rotate out or help me just do stuff, because it will be a little bit easier than when all of a sudden, you know, 3.5 weeks ahead of the date I find out, oh, I can't do this. Then I can have somebody else that I can tap. So that's something else I'm going to be trying to put together here in a little bit. It probably won't happen like in totality today, like actually getting that kind of a thing set up, but I need to get it started because this is, you know, one of those other things that's going to be hanging over my head while I'm out next week, and then right after I get back, like that following Friday, is Creative Mornings. So I need to find this, and I need to hustle for it, and I just need to go do. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to work on, going through all of my contacts, going through all the stack of business cards that I have, and pulling out the right people. Taking a quick break to grab some lunch and probably watch a Gary V. But before doing that, I just kind of wanted to riff a little bit about what's going on with my projects. The nature of things right now is that I can't do a whole lot. I have reached out to the photographers and videographers that I know, in part for my project, but also for Creative Mornings. I'm also watching an email string develop between my scriptwriter and Denver Rescue Mission, trying to coordinate back and forth through meetings. And so basically I'm sitting here and I can't do anything about any of these projects right now because that's just what's going on. It's really interesting being in this place where I can't do anything, and yet I'm fully responsible for everything. You know, I like to talk to people when they say that I want to start my own business because I want to be my own boss. I tell them, you know, being your own boss is great, but that also sucks. Like, if something goes wrong, it's your fault. If your website goes down, it's your fault. If you can't get to your laundry in your house because you're spending all day on your business, it's your fault. There's nobody to blame when something goes wrong when you're your own boss. And likewise, there's going to be nobody else to blame If any of these projects go belly up, if something falls flat, if I can't pull something off, like ultimately all of this comes down to my responsibility. And when I use the phrase my fault, that's exactly what I'm trying to say, like it's my responsibility. It's not that I triggered something wrong necessarily, but it's that I'm the one who's on the line to make it happen. And this is something that I've been really trying to do more. It's something that I've kind of always believed in, that, you should take responsibility for everything in your life. If something's going wrong on your watch, take responsibility for it, even if it's not your fault. Like it's not something that you triggered, but it's still going wrong, because you're the one that has to deal with it in the moment. You should take responsibility for it. And it's something that I feel is really lacking for a lot of people. Like, it's so much easier to blame a circumstance. It's so much easier to blame some outside force for why something didn't work, or why you didn't get the thing that you wanted, or why life is not going the way that you want. But when you start taking that responsibility and saying, no, this is me. This is all on me. I'm going to make this happen. Things start to change, because now you're actually active in the decision-making process about what's happening around you. And sure, there can be economic circumstances that will change your life. You might lose a job like I did a few years ago, and that's going to change everything and force all kinds of unexpectedness, like living on somebody else's couch, moving 1,000 miles across the country. But by taking the responsibility, rather than saying, oh, it's their fault that they fired me, it's their fault that my position got eliminated, it's their fault, that actually makes you the victim and takes control away from yourself. You voluntarily give control to somebody else to change your current state. And ultimately, that's what responsibility gives you. It gives you control again to make a change, to do something different, and to not be encumbered by all the stuff in the past. And so for me, like, it's challenging when you have to say, okay, this is all on me. I got to make this happen, when it's not something that was even like your problem to begin with. But I will tell you that it's the thing that enables you to go big and to do even more stuff. In the case of the project that I got going on right now, trying to find a videographer for Creative Mornings, trying to find a videographer for my own project, watching my script writer, schedule her meetings, like these are all things that are out of my control in terms of like whether or not these things are actually going to happen, but they're fully within my responsibility to make happen somehow. And so that gives me the impetus to think creatively, to innovate out of a problem if one arises, because now it's all on me. By accepting responsibility, I become the one that can actually save the day. I'm the one that can solve the problem. And by accepting that before that happens, it gives me ownership. I'm more likely to see problems ahead of time and to stay on top of things because I'm taking responsibility. Rather than saying, oh, it's somebody else's fault, they'll figure it out. It's somebody else's thing, they'll figure it out. That actually allows problems to escalate a whole lot further and allows problems to compound until they're really, really big. And so for me, I like taking this responsibility. I like saying, no, this is all on me. It's just in this stage where I have to watch and literally like actually can't do anything. It's nerve-wracking because I don't want these projects to fall apart, even though I am saying like I'm the one who's going to be responsible if they fall apart. So yeah, I have to sit here and twiddle my thumbs and hope that people get back to me and hope that these things keep going. But thankfully, it's not just like this blind hope, like, I'm going to hope that it's going to happen, and then I don't actually do anything about it. Like, I'm going to take an active stance with that hope and keep tabs on things and to be observant and to help any way that I can. So, yeah, right now I need to help my stomach because I got to eat. I'm hungry. My brain is starting to fry. But seriously, if you're not taking responsibility in your life for the things that are happening around you and you feel apt to blame a person in your life, your finances, your neighborhood, your economic circumstances around you, the fact that you lost a job, the fact that your job doesn't give you time, like whatever it is, if you find yourself blaming something else for your lack of whatever execution there is, I'll give you a hint. It's not that stuff. It's usually yourself. And the second that you take responsibility for yourself is the second that you are going to start moving forward and actually gaining control and progress over those things that are holding you back. So now the thing that I need to do to have progress is to eat. So I'll see you in a bit.
Oh boy, I always find it interesting how much I'll list everything out, but then I have to add all these other notes to my production notes right here. So the good news is that I have been reaching out to my sound locations just to figure out like where we're supposed to be. I've started reaching out to my photographers, and as of right now, this is as far as I can go today. So I'm going to put this away and move on to my presentation for NAB.
There is only one problem that happens when you love what you do. So I'm re-editing Dylan's video. Yeah, this might just be something personal, like this might not actually make it all the way at NAB. But while I was working on some of the stuff for NAB for my presentation just the other day, I was mucking around with a different music track because I was trying to illustrate the idea that different music could change the tone and the volume and everything. And in the process, I discovered an edit that I like better than what I originally cut. What I originally cut works, it's great, it has a great open, but I really feel like this has 10 times more energy. And so I'm just playing around with it. I have the time to do that this afternoon. Depending upon how much longer this may take, though, I may have to call it quits and just say, like, hey, look, if you can't get it done by the end of tonight, then you don't get to do it. But yeah, this is something I love about my job and that I love about editing. There's really no right, 100% right way about doing it. I firmly believe that the only thing that is right is making sure that the cuts and the edits and the choices that you make are moving the story forward. If they're not doing that, then they are the wrong choice. But how you go about doing that is entirely up to you, your personality, who you are, what kind of story it is, the attitude and the vibe that you want it to have, and whether that is something that's coming from you personally or from a client and they're dictating this to you. So all of this stuff has to be working in tandem, and all of this has to be moving toward a story. And so when I'm able to get back into a same edit, especially one that's a passion project like this thing that I'm doing for Dylan, it lets me explore other ways of doing things. It's a reminder to me that no one way is perfect, but that anything can be taken multiple ways and do multiple things with it. So yeah, that's interesting to note because, I mean, ultimately, like we like to say in the creative world, art is never finished. It's just abandoned. And it's the same thing with video production projects sometimes. They are not finished. They're just abandoned because you have to be done. And so in this case, I don't have to be done just yet. But rather than keep talking to you guys, I really want to get back into this, and I'll show you the difference between the two of them in a minute. Okay, so I am done, and now I have the fun job of deciding which one do I want to take to NAB with me. Robo's home, but I'm going to quickly record both of them, and you guys, you guys get to vote. Alright, video 1. It's not playing. Let's try that again. Video 1. It's still not playing. What's going on? Okay, I have the wrong thing highlighted. That's what it is. Okay, la 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 la. I promise I know what I'm doing. Okay. Drum roll. Video number 1. Alright, video 1, here we go, ready? Alright, let me go line up for video 2. Alright, and now, video number 2. Both versions. Which one do you think is better? Leave a comment below, number 1 or number 2. Oh look, it's restarting again behind me. Ha! Alright, so this is going to be the end of today's video. I will see you all tomorrow. Make sure that you vote on which one of these you like, because I'd really like your opinions. This is the fun job of being a video editor, in that you get to work with footage. It's the same footage, but combining it differently is what changes everything about it and can make it feel totally different. So, Yes, this is a little glimpse of what I get to do every day. Welcome to my life. I love it. So I will see you all tomorrow. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Remember to comment with your vote below. And if you have not yet subscribed, click the subscribe button because this is the kind of stuff that happens pretty much every single day. And trust me, you don't want to miss the trip to Las Vegas because that's going to be a lot of fun coming up here soon. So I will see you all tomorrow. Ciao.